You are watching the Valley on ESPN. Tonight from SEFCU Arena in Normal, it's the 82nd all-time meeting between the Bears of Missouri State and the Illinois State Redbirds. Hi everybody, welcome courtside inside SEFCU Arena. I'm Scott Sudikoff, joined by Sean Johnson. Very happy to have you with us here on the Valley on ESPN tonight. And Sean, you look at Missouri State, they come in having won 4 of its last 5 games. Meanwhile, Illinois State looking for some consistency.
You're right, Scott. Illinois State hoping to play better. Dana Ford, Missouri State's head coach, back at his alma mater, has won 5 of 6 here. These teams only play one time this year. So this is the only time they'll see each other, only time they get a big conference win.
Taking a look at our players to watch in this game. And on the Missouri State side, it's been a very new team this year, and the only returning starter, Donovan Clay.
Donovan Clay, if you're going to bring one starter back, a good one to bring back. MVC All-Defense last year, second team preseason All-MVC. Since he came back into the starting lineup on the first, 17, 8, and 4. 65 career points against Illinois State. The Valpo transfer is familiar with this building. We'll see if he can run it back like he has in the past.
And for Illinois State, we take a look at Malachi Poindexter coming off a career day last weekend at Evansville.
You're right, Scott. Malachi Poindexter, the Virginia transfer, because he walked on at Virginia, hasn't really played meaningful minutes in 2 years. And Brian Pete has said every game he gets a little bit better. 6 threes his last 2 games, 18 points against Evansville. Hasn't missed a free throw this year, leading the country at 100%. He's going to have to play that point guard position really well tonight if the Redbirds are going to win.
All right, we're getting ready for this one. Redbirds and the Bears. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, Sean.
Scott, keys to the game, Missouri State. You want to get multiple scorers involved. 6-1 this year when 3 or more players are in double figures in the first half. Scott, we talked about it. Illinois State 3-8 when trailing at the half this year. Missouri State 0-7. So this first 20 minutes is going to be critical for Illinois State. Maximize your possessions. 3-0 when you've scored 70 or more. 20 or more turnovers in 2 of the last 3 games, and you're going to need to defend the perimeter. Missouri State, 40% of their scoring comes from the three-point line.
And Aruna Sissoko wins the opening tip right to Kendall Lewis, who goes straight to the rim and draws a foul 3 seconds into this game.
A great start there from Illinois State, who Brian Pete has emphasized energy from the tip. Really a great start there to set the tone in a conference home game.
Foul called on the floor. Look at Illinois State's starting lineup. Kazuki, Poindexter, Burford, Lewis, who all started the last game. Aruna Sissoko back in the starting lineup for the 5th time this year. Now take a look at Missouri State. They made a change from their last game. Chance Moore and Kendall Moore back in the starting lineup, along with Mogbo, Clay, and Dallin Ridgnall. Missouri State coming off a loss Saturday at Belmont, 74-61. That is tipped away with 9 on the shot clock. The Bears coming in 4-2 in the Valley thus far, having won 4 of their last 5 games. Kendall Moore will inbound the basketball, transferred from Colorado State. Shot clock is down to 5. Clay looking to get something going here against Lewis. Good battle. Clay gets all the way to the hoop and scores. That'll be pretty fun, though. Clay versus Lewis, if we see that matchup all night.
Yeah, I wondered, Scott, who from Illinois State would get that matchup. We highlighted Donovan Clay in the open, and already a lot of contact. Really a tremendous defensive possession from Kendall Lewis, and we're going to get Donovan Clay here on the push. I just said it, there's a ton of contact between the two already. Clay was fortunate to get the loose ball, but he's got 1 foul already, and that's not a guy that Dana Ford wants to see get into foul trouble.
So 2 early team fouls on Missouri State, less than a minute gone by. As you look at Kendall Lewis, who's trying to get his offense back kick-started, only averaging 6.6 a game over the last 4 games. Illinois State winning Saturday at Evansville, 69-61, to get their 2nd conference win. Sissoko on the block. Up with the right hand, can't score it. And the rebound cleared by the Bears' Jonathan Mogbo. 3-ball left side is good for Kendall Moore. A 33% three-point shooter makes it 5-0 in favor of the Bears.
The Colorado State transfer from the state of Illinois, a Danville High School graduate, Scott. That's almost his 200th career three-pointer, a really successful career at Colorado State, finishing it now in Springfield for the Bears.
That's the perimeter play that we just said is a key defensively for Illinois State. Malachi Poindexter gets the bounce off the back iron, coming off a career-high 18 points on Saturday.
Yeah, we highlighted in the open, Scott. He walked on at Virginia, so he didn't play a ton of minutes. I think the highest he played was 14, and so every game he's going to get a little bit better. You can see right there the offensive game developing. He's not just a shooter able to drive into the lane, hit the easy two.
Chance Moore cut off by Poindexter, and he draws the turnover from Moore, the traveling violation. So it'll be Redbird basketball.
Yeah, the physicality, I think, so far stands out, Scott. There's been a ton of contact. Sissoko had a travel where he got run into. There's a travel. Lewis and Clay got mixed up, and that's what Missouri State wants to do. If you look right here on the floor, they're pretty big, 1 through 5.
Illinois State 4-4 here at home at SEPQ Arena this season. They're going to get above 500. Lewis ducks the shoulder, has it blocked by Chance Moore. 9th block of the season for the sophomore from Georgia, transfer from Arkansas. Long three ball, short from Kendall Moore, and the rebound for Kazubke. Kazubke starting for the 3rd consecutive game, as both of these head coaches have been shuffling their lineup throughout the season. Lewis, good pass, Sissoko lays it up and in.
Right there, you're going to see flashes of what Illinois State can do offensively, Scott. If they don't turn the basketball over, they have guys who can share the basketball right there. A good back cut by Kendall Lewis. Donovan Clay kind of tripped, and an unselfish play to find Sissoko.
Redbirds cannot control the rebound. It'll be Missouri State basketball. Illinois State had 14 assists in that game Saturday on 24 made baskets for the season, only averaging about 11 assists per game. Obviously, you want to get that number up there. Catch and shoot, Chance Moore for 3. Nothing but net. So Moors have knocked down threes. Kendall and Chance, no relation. 8-4 Missouri State.
The thing that Missouri State does really well, we talked about it in the open, is, Scott, almost no one is outside of Donovan Clay kind of that go-to guy. They get contributions across the board, and we talked about it when 3 guys score in double figures, really hard to guard.
And Chance Moore is their leading scorer. The only scorer in double figures this year at 13 a game. Missouri State turns it over. Burford can't score. And coming the other side is Donovan Clay. Ridgenall pulls up for 3. That's a 3rd made three-pointer for Missouri State and 4 attempts thus far.
And right now it's just been transition. 2 of those three-pointers from Missouri State have come where Illinois State just couldn't find matchups. Burford's missed layup leads to a run out. Missouri State 1 through 5 is quick up and down the floor, and so far the tempo is favoring the Bears as those transition threes have hurt the Redbirds.
Missouri State 4th in the Valley in three-point shooting, 34%. As that pass trying to go inside Sissoko, and Illinois State turns it over. Missouri State riding the 3-ball early in this game. They've knocked down 3 of them and have a 7-point lead on Illinois State here on the Valley on ESPN. Looking inside the Missouri State huddle, head coach Dana Ford, 5th year as the Bears head coach, 9th year overall as a head coach. And of course, Dana very familiar with this arena. Of course, a player here at Illinois State as well as a coach.
Yeah, Dana Ford, 5-1 his last 6 against the Redbirds. But like you said, Scott, it's always interesting to come back and play against your alma mater. I know in conversations with Dana, he's always wished ISU well. I think he has a soft spot, obviously, from having played here and has done a good job there in Springfield, Missouri.
And Ryan Peden in his first year at Illinois State after the last 5 years as an assistant at Ohio State, and stops prior with Butler, Illinois, Toledo, Miami of Ohio, in Kent State, really working his way through the system, you'd say, to get a head coaching job.
Yeah, a guy that with tremendous success at Ohio State has had opportunities before this and picked Illinois State because of what he thought he could build here. And foundationally, you can already see what Coach Peden is trying to build, as Illinois State has done a good job here in his first year.
That ball before the timeout was actually out of bounds off of Missouri State. And Malachi Poindexter picking up where he left off. On Saturday, he has 5 points. And it's a 4-point game. Jonathan Mogbo hands it off to Chance Moore. Guarded by Poindexter. He pulls up. This is front iron. Rebound Snared by Seneca Knight, who checked in during the timeout. Liam McChesney also in there, along with Lewis, Poindexter, and Burford. Lewis being watched by Mogbo. Defender falls down. Poindexter, step back three. Kept it alive. Seneca Knight did. Second opportunity. Spins it up and in. And a foul for Seneca Knight. So a good job on the offensive glass by Knight. And a chance to pull the Redbirds within one.
Scott, you're starting to see a little bit of Illinois State playing within their roles, and Malachi Poindexter kind of taking over that scoring point guard. A good-looking three-point shot as the defender fell down, but Seneca Knight's role is kind of an energy garbage man, cleaning up the glass there. He's able to get himself an extra possession, get something going, and for a guy who can struggle to score at times, it's always nice to get an easy one as 11-4 into the media, and Illinois State comes out with a quick 6 points.
These are two of the top three offensive rebounding teams in the Valley, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Rebounding really in general in this game, as both teams very successful when they out-rebound their opponent.
And Illinois State here switches to a zone for the first time, and
Ridgetold just shoots over it for his second trifecta.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if Ryan Peden was hoping for that. And obviously we've talked about, you just mentioned the rebounding, but the size. Missouri State is so big that kind of pushed their offense out, and I think you'll live with a 26-footer there without very much ball movement.
Seneca Knight just had the three-point play, penetrates. Has to kick it out to Liam McChesney. Shot clock at 8 for Burford. Down to 5. Knight coming out of the corner, explodes to the rim and draws the contact and the foul. So Seneca Knight very aggressive in the couple of minutes he's been in the game thus far.
Another really good drive there by Seneca, and Dana Ford is visibly upset with his defender, who right there you just check, close out, chop your feet instead of flying for a ball fake. And Seneca Knight, not necessarily known for his three-point shooting, just not a very fundamental closeout there, and leads to an easy drive to the basket for Seneca as he hits the first free throw.
Second foul for Kendall Moore. So he comes out. Colton Sandage, the hometown kid, is into the lineup for the Redbirds as Poindexter goes to the bench with 5 early points. And Seneca Knight goes 2 for 2. He's 75% at the line this year. Of course, the Redbirds 6th in the country, 80% free throw shooting. Missouri State dead last in the nation in free throw shooting.
The very bottom. And really actually cost them probably the Belmont game. 10 of 19, their last one out in the loss to Belmont.
Well, the three-point shot's been working so far today. That one's no good. Ridgetold, though, with the offensive rebound.
There's just no real surprise, Scott, as to why they lead the conference in offensive rebounding right there. 2 guys flying to the glass just on top of Colton Sandage, who had good position, but just the verticality there of Missouri State leads to an easy putback.
McChesney trying to get it out to the corner tonight, and it's intercepted by Donovan Clay, the transfer from Valparaiso. In his second overall season with Missouri State. We referenced it off the top, one of the only starter back from last year's 23-11 Bears team that went to the NIT, as Lewis clears the rebound. Burford penetrates, almost slipped. Sandage, now Knight from the corner. Offensive rebound, Burford, nobody there to block him out, puts it up and in.
That's one thing Darius Burford does incredibly well, and just on that side of the floor, but he's 11th in the conference in defensive rebounding percentage there. Able to get the kick out and stays in the paint for the offensive rebound. Another good shot fake by the Birds as Missouri State flew by again, which led to another open look. Poor fundamentals there from the Bears.
16-14, Missouri State by a pair. Ridgetold really feeling it. And having the box out there, Burford, right to your point, a very good defensive rebounder for a guy that's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, and right there, didn't just rely on the athleticism, and DB has that in spades, but a great box out too, and that's how you become a very good rebounder, the athleticism combined with the fundamentals.
Good defense by Mogbo as he was fronting McChesney, gets the steal and draws the foul. Timeout on the floor. A good one thus far here in Normal. 11:54 to go first half. Missouri State 16, Illinois State 14. 82nd all-time meeting between these two programs, Illinois State and Missouri State. The lone meeting this season with now the new 20-game conference season. You don't play everybody twice. Redbirds and Bears will only match up here today. Illinois State has the better overall of things, but Missouri State has won 5 of the last 6 overall in this series.
Missouri State was picked 4th in the Valley, Scott, and for a team that wants to compete for championships, you have to win road conference games. And so this is a big one for Missouri State and Illinois State as well. But I was really impressed, Scott. Dana Ford, 15-6 in MVC road games the last 3 seasons. And typically you hope to steal a few or beat the teams you're supposed to and stay around 500. And so really good job so far from Illinois State matching the intensity of the Bears. But a team that really travels well and plays well on the road.
Both teams shooting over 45% so far, but the big difference, Missouri State has made 4 of 9 3-pointers. Illinois State 1 for 3 from downtown. Missouri State basketball out of the timeout. Rafe Ayers has come into the game as Donovan Clay brings it ahead. Original has been the leader thus far for the Bears with 8 points. Clay can't finish. Lewis the rebound.
And only Donovan Clay's second shot attempt. Kendall Lewis has done a good job. That possession you saw Liam McChesney get the matchup, and that's something that Ryan Peden does, is uses Liam McChesney's length on the defensive end to their advantage in certain matchups, so he's going to draw Donovan Clay now.
Knight. Good burst from him off the bench with 5 points. 3 ball. Too strong by Sandage. Burford kept it alive, but deflected to Damian Mayo, a true freshman from St. Louis. Did a prep year before that, though. Played at Chaminade in St. Louis. Clay, gonna back down Lewis. Deep 3, Original has already made a couple. That one was way off. Deflects to Clay. Now Original drives it, trying to posterize somebody. Ball ends up hitting the rim, and now Ayers a 3-pointer halfway down. Batted around. Illinois State comes away with it.
A lot just went on in that possession, Scott.
Burford out to Knight. Knight, he drives, hangs, and it's swatted away from behind by Jonathan Mogbo, who is 4th in the Valley in blocks per game.
And another guy who can block shots, Liam McChesney, first in block percentage. Doesn't play as many minutes as Mogbo, but certainly has the ability to block shots, and there is able to avoid being on the receiving end of a poster on the other end. See Mogbo's block there, but McChesney blocks one, and so up and down we go. A lot of frenetic play there in the last 45 seconds.
And the teams are attacking the paint. Illinois State has 8 points in the paint. Missouri State with 4. McChesney. Kazumke's back in there, bumping with Rafe Ayers, who is called for the foul.
Just too much contact there from Ayers. Looks like he was using the shoulder instead of the chest and kind of creating that contact. And not a necessary foul. I wouldn't say. Luke Kazuki is a scorer there from the mid-post. And now we're going to get a whistle and talk about some more contact. And right now, Scott, we've talked about it. Pretty physical game thus far.
Very physical. Officials, a couple of extra words there before giving the ball for the inbounds. This is going to be out of bounds to Missouri State. 4th Illinois State turnover thus far. Missouri State with 2, and there's no beating around the bush really with the turnover situation for Illinois State. They had the victory Saturday, but still had 19 turnovers, averaging just under 15 a game. The last 2-3 games have been a struggle in that category. 3 ball by Rafe Ayers. And Missouri State leads by 5.
That's why the turnovers hurt, Scott, is they have a statistic called non-steal turnovers. And Illinois State is 352nd in the country, which means the ball is not getting taken from you. Right there, Illinois State just throws the basketball out of bounds. It's a 3-pointer on the other end. And we talked in Keys about maximizing possessions, and that's just one you're giving up, and giving up a 3 on the other end.
Kazumke gets the 3 back with his 21st made 3-pointer of the year, 41% from distance.
And now you see why the turnovers are so critical, because when Illinois State can run their offense, it ends up looking good. They just don't give themselves enough chance to do it consistently.
That's why one of your keys is maximize possessions, as they got a foul, Missouri State offensive foul. It's on Ayers, his second. sixth on the team with 9:29 to go first half. Missouri State has led the entire way through, led by as many as 7. It was 11-4 at our first media timeout. And we will see Alex Kotov come on for the first time for Illinois State.
Dana Ford going to trust Ayers here. He got a quick 2 fouls, but they're going to leave him on the floor. Not something you necessarily see all the time, especially with 9:20 left in the half.
Kazubke feeling it. Misses that one. And the rebound by Chance Moore. Alston Mason has come on for the Bears. A sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas, Played for Oklahoma last year. Chases this one down in the backcourt. It was deflected. Mason guarded by Kazubke. One-on-one into the paint. Fading back, misses it. And the rebound, Knight. Seneca Knight. Kazubke and stepped out of bounds, or the ball may have hit the sideline. There's one of those turnovers that you mentioned, not necessarily forced by Missouri State.
Yeah, just one more dribble and a jump stop there, and Seneca Knight can deliver it. Instead, throws a pass on the run that's off the mark. Kazubke could have had a three-pointer there. Instead, it's a turnover the other way. But right now, Missouri State struggling to get anything going. One of their last 9 here from the floor.
37% now for the game, 7 of 19. Chance Moore. Loses control. Knight knocked it away. Moore gets it back. Original. The baseline. This is N.J. Benson, a true freshman. And now Mason way out deep. And the rebound. Oh, Knight had it. Stolen away by Dalen Original. Chance Moore to the basket. Can't get it to go, but it'll go to the free throw line. Seneca Knight will pick up the foul. This play by Moore. Chance Moore at the free throw line where he's 62% on the season. And again, Missouri State has a team 59%, 352nd in the country. We'll see how much of a factor that is today when you're taking on Illinois State, the 6th best free throw shooting team in the nation.
One of the things, Scott, to do to win on the road is do the little things, and that includes make free throws. And this is a team Dana Ford typically has a very good offensive team. They're struggling right now, one of their last 10, and you talk about the free throw shooting. At some point, you feel like that's going to become a major factor in a game that right now looks like it's going to be close.
And I think that'll be a 3rd foul on Rafe Ayers. Called it on somebody else. We'll check it when we come back here. 20-17 Missouri State. We got a timeout on the floor in Normal. Three-point Missouri State lead, 20-17 here in Normal. The Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX legislation throughout the academic year. The Valley is honoring pioneers from league institutions who paved the way for current and future student athletes. To learn more about the conference's Title IX recognition plans, visit mvc-sports.com/Title IX 50. Scott Sudikoff, Sean Johnson back with you. Missouri State has led the entire way, have led by as many as 7. Have a 3-point lead here. Just saw the 3rd foul on Rafe Ayers. Missouri State, though, maintaining this lead, even though they've only made 1 of their last 10 shots.
For a team that gets 40% of their scoring from the three-point line, 13 of their 20 attempts, 5 threes, so 15 of 20 points. Cocktail napkin math, 75% there. Scott, you can check me if I'm wrong, but Illinois State can...
I don't have a cocktail napkin, so I can't help you.
That's good. That's good. Illinois State just defend the perimeter a little bit here. Stop turning the basketball over. 5 so far, but looks like we're headed for, right now, a back-and-forth affair here in SEPCU Arena.
Our bosses might be concerned if we had cocktail napkins right now at the tables. Lewis knocks down both free throws. 1-point game. The Bears remain in front. Missouri Valley Conference action on this Wednesday night in January. Happy to have you with us on the Valley on ESPN.
This is a really challenging defensive game for Illinois State, and I say that as
Donovan play, three-pointer.
But the reason I say that, Scott, is Missouri State runs almost no actions on the offensive end. There's no screening away. There's no ball screens. It's very much one-on-one isolation, guard the basketball, and that's a challenge. So we'll see how well Illinois State does on their matchups.
Poindexter gets himself free, and he matches the three-pointer from Donovan Clay. Poindexter with 8 points thus far.
Now 8 threes in his last 3 games. We've talked a lot about Malachi Poindexter, how much better he's going to get. And Ryan Peden said after the win, felt like he's grown up a lot. Darius Burford has played really well, and this Illinois State team is finding some success here with their perimeter play.
Back to a 1-point game. That 3-ball by Donovan Clay, by the way, was only the 4th he's made all year. He's only taken 16. And good job by Jonathan Mogbo. He felt the pressure behind him, but quick little up fake. Threw Kotov off, and he lays it up and in.
Yeah, good post pass. Kotov went for the steal there, just caught himself out of position a little bit, but that was another possession where right there, Original kind of stood in front of us on the Carl logo and just never moved the entire possession.
Burford tied up a bit, looking for some help. Nobody comes to get it, and he throws it away. Seems like an instance there where somebody's got to get to Darius Burford there to help him out.
Yeah, just can't pick up your dribble there. That was just one of those situations where DB caught himself stuck about 35 feet from the basket, no cutting action, and that's one of those turnovers we've talked about, Scott, where Illinois State shooting themselves in the foot as opposed to making the defenders make a play.
Well, there's Kotov trying to make up for it with a steal as he's fouled, and we'll have free throws. That's the 8th team foul on Missouri State. Mogbo, his first foul.
And Missouri State really, Scott, only plays 7 players big minutes, and so 8 fouls so far. Ayers has 3 of those 8, so you're not going to see him here for a while, and so we'll see what depth Missouri State has and how well it withstands this next 6 minutes here.
That was Kotov's first free throw attempt of the season. Chance Moore, early 3, front iron. Kotov the rebound. This is what we're told we might see with Illinois State. Kotov getting some time. Might see Petrakis really work in the big men they have on the bench. Ryan Schmidt could see some time eventually. Illinois State gives it up once again. Liam McChesney is going to come back in, replacing Kendall Lewis. McChesney back in the starting lineup the prior 3 games. They had missed the 2 games prior to that after rolling an ankle in the game against Eastern Michigan back on December the 7th. Mogbo, one-on-one with Kotov. Help comes from McChesney. Chance Moore explodes to the rim, takes the contact, scores, and the foul as he challenged McChesney at the rim.
He really did, and that was an incredibly athletic finish. And the question right now is they talk about wall-ups. We'll see right here, Liam McChesney just went vertical. I don't think you can call that a foul, as he didn't really extend at all. He vertical wall, the jump wall is what they call that, and kind of just took away the driving angle from Moore. And great finish from him there. And
second foul on McChesney. And Chance Moore at the free throw line. Played in 5 games last year for the Razorbacks. So far in his Missouri State career, he's leading the team in scoring, 13 points a game.
Another sub from Illinois State there. Alex Kotov heads off, but just gave really good minutes of steal. Got to the free throw line, guarded the post, and that's a guy you feel like if he can contribute a little bit here and there, this Illinois State team becomes much more dangerous with his talent level on the floor.
7 points for Chance Moore after the free throw make. Aruna Sissoko has come on for the Redbirds. 6-point Missouri State lead. They've led by as many as 7. Illinois State has not led yet in this game. Sandage up fakes. Now in the hands of Kazumki. He gets free. Good bounce pass, Sissoko. Out to Sandage for 3. Back iron. And Original had the rebound knocked away from him. Missouri State ball.
Crowd disagrees, but before that, an excellent possession there on the offensive end. Kasuki makes a great one more to Haruna Sissoko, who kicks it out to one of the better shooters on the team in Colton Sandage, and that's why the turnovers are so detrimental. When Illinois State runs their offense, it looks really good, ends up in a wide open 3-pointer.
Chance Moore swings it for Clay. Missouri State winners of 4 of their last 5, coming off a loss though, and a layup. Chance Moore, 9 points for the sophomore. Started for the 3rd time It's 16 games that he's appeared in this season.
And a 7-0 run here from Missouri State, with the majority of those coming from Chance Moore.
Eight on the timer. Poindexter steps into a three. Halfway down, Lewis, the offensive rebound. Can't get the strong putback.
And I think that might have been a goaltend. I think Original might have had his, you can see the net on the other end.
Yeah, it's, if the ball is on the cylinder, if you make contact with the net like that, it would be a goaltending.
Yeah, curious.
Just depending on the timing of when it all happened. Foul called on Lewis. We will get a timeout here. 3:46 left to go first half. Missouri State has its largest lead, 30-22 on the Valley on ESPN. Missouri State, 4-2 in the Valley. Have the lead right now. They have 3 of the next 4 games at home. It'll be a very tough test on Sunday when they take on, right now, the undefeated Sycamores in Missouri Valley Conference play. And Drake on the road. Illinois State, Missouri State 4-2, as I mentioned, 8-8 in overall record. Illinois State would like to get this one before they go on the road for their next 2 games. Southern Illinois and then Northern Iowa next week. So the opposite, 3 of the next 4 for Illinois State on the road.
Coming out of this timeout here, Illinois State scoreless in the last 3. 28. Missouri State has made 4 of their last 5, and that's been kind of the difference in its 8 points. Otherwise, both teams kind of playing it pretty closely statistically. 15-13 on the rebound, 6-5 second chance points, 10-8 in the paint. So outside of this one short run here, we've had a pretty evenly matched game thus far.
Missouri State 9 points off of 7 Illinois State turnovers. Chance Moore can't bank it home. Rebound off the floor for Seneca Knight. Illinois State does not have any points off of the 4 Missouri State turnovers thus far.
If Illinois State can get a basket here, that feels like a really big stop. And
Knight fouled as Original reaching in, called for the foul. And that'll be 1-1.
Yeah, and I can't tell if Dana Ford's upset with the official or with Original for reaching out, but that's one. We've talked about the lack of depth that Missouri State shows. You don't necessarily want one of your better players fouling 40 feet from the basket. Kind of a risk analysis there. Not sure Original was going to gain anything from a steal right there. Instead ends up sending Seneca Knight to the line.
6 points for Knight. Coming off 15 points at Evansville in 30 minutes on Saturday. A couple of seasons at San Jose State, a season at BYU before landing here in Bloomington Normal.
The best free throw shooting team in the conference continues. Seneca Knight 5 of 5 now. He's got 7 and 4 in only 8 minutes, and so some really good minutes in this first half from Seneca Knight.
In Missouri State, they have a much shorter bench than they started with this season. Alston Mason guarded by Sandage. Clay puts it to the floor, pulls up in the lane, tipped up. Whistle blows. It's a foul, Illinois State. Not sure if that tip would have counted or not.
I think it would have, Scott. I think they're going to get Kendall Lewis on the box out. I think just the activity of Mogbo. He just refused to be boxed out, and once he was in the air, Kendall Lewis continued that box out and just kind of drove him out of position, and so that would have been an and one, but we're going to get Mogbo here at the line for 2. See right here, yeah, just gets inside position on Kendall Lewis. It kind of gives him that forearm shove in the thigh as he jumps, and one of the keys, Scott, was the first half, and it's certainly not the be-all, end-all, but this Missouri State team under Dana Ford, 7-1 this year when leading at the half, but in his career at Missouri State, 68-13 when they lead at the half.
Ogbo made the first, misses the second, 31-24. Missouri State lost Matthew Lee for the season after just 2 games with a torn ACL. Of course, the transfer from the Cinderella St. Peter's team of a year ago. Kazumke gets himself down deep, and 3 in the key is the call on Illinois State. Also, Missouri State You've had Brian Trimble, who's been out of the lineup the last 6 games. James Graham the last 3. Dawson Carper the last 7.
Yeah, you see Hirona Sissoko just kind of camping there, trying to clear some space for Kasubki, who got cut off by Original, and now we're 5 minutes here without an Illinois State field goal at the end of the half.
Moore into Mogbo. Mogbo has the advantage on Sandage. Bolted Sandage, really nothing he could do but foul in that issue, in that situation.
Seneca Knight really probably plays the wing, Scott, and so the only true post player on the floor for Illinois State right now is an undersized Hirona Sissoko, and we haven't seen Kochov since he went out. We haven't seen Ryan Schmidt and Lewis and McChesney on the bench, and so the size right now for Illinois State is going to be an issue, and probably one of the better fouls you're going to take as Mogbo struggles from the line here. He's missed 2 in a row, but Sandage just caught himself in a mismatch there, did his best, and Mogbo gets to the line.
Mogbo has been very good the last 5 games for the Bears. Goes 0 for 2 there and tracks down the rebound. Then stepped out of bounds. But over the last 5 games, 10 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2.5 assists. So he's the best, one of the best in the conference in blocks and steals. He's showing some offense today. 31-24. Poindexter, the basketball, has a team-high 8 points for Illinois State. Sandage taken away by Mogbo. Mentioned his steals. He feeds it to Mason, who lays it in. And the lead is now 9 for Missouri State, the largest it's been. And Ryan Pedon will use his use it or lose it 30-second timeout with 1:53 left to go here in the first half. And Missouri State has a 33-24 lead. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a PNC Achiever feature focusing on an athlete here at Illinois State. Of course, we'll have some highlights and some stats. We'll also take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the Missouri Valley Conference. It's one of those days, a Wednesday in January in conference season. Plenty of action going on, so we'll check out what's happening around the Valley. But now if you're Illinois State, Jon, you're down by 9 with 1:53 to go here in the first half. You're most likely not going to make up 9 points here in the next 1:53, but you want to try to grab some momentum here from Missouri State, because obviously they're feeling pretty good right now.
Correct. The last home game we had here, Scott, Northern Iowa, Illinois State found themselves in a similar position and kept getting the lead back to 5 and back to 6, and you just don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to come back from 11 or 13, and so you mentioned it, you're not going to get 9 points back in 1:53 here, but you have to think you're going to have 3 or 4 solid possessions, and so we'll see what they come up with out of the timeout. Missouri State's going to come out in a zone here, and so whatever Ryan Pedon drew up was probably for the man-to-man that Missouri State has been running, so Dana Ford comes out and throws a little wrinkle here.
Mogbo went for the steal. Poindexter left alone for 3, cans it. Malachi Poindexter with 11 points now here in the first half.
And there are times where coaches just tend to overthink it, and the man-to-man defense for Missouri State hadn't given up a basket in 5:30, and maybe Dana Ford feels like you want to stick with that and went to the zone, but when you switch defenses, guys can get confused and ends up with an open 3.
Chance Moore, he drives into Sissoko. The outside referee calling a block. I don't know if the referee down low called a charge or not, but they're going with the block on Hirona Sissoko.
Let's take a look at the replay, see if he was inside the circle. I mean, that's about as textbook a charge.
I thought I saw his foot still coming together when the upward motion had begun. And I think that's the key there, is that Moore was gathering and Sissoko's left foot in this instance was moving across. Now, a lot of times that call is made the other way as well, though.
Yeah, I think it's challenging official to official. Some guys look at the body and see if they're still moving or their arms are up. Some guys look at the feet. Some guys look at the circle, and that's one of those calls as an official. It's virtually impossible to know exactly what's going on at all times, and I think right there, Chance Moore just kind of took off from farther away. Sissoko probably had another half second, like you said, Scott, to really get the feet set, and Moore's athleticism offsets Sissoko's positioning as he gets 1 of 2 from the line.
10 points for Chance Moore. So lead is 7 coming up on a minute remaining here in the first half. Poindexter with the 11. His 6th double-figure game as a Redbird. Knight down low, nowhere to go. Out to Poindexter. Looks confident with his shot and shows it. 14 points from Malachi Poindexter. Timeout, Dana Ford. and Missouri State, as the Redbirds are within 4. And Malachi Poindexter doing what he needs to do to bring his Illinois State team back to within 4.
Shooting it just really, really well. And right here, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. One of those ones where you can just rise up and shoot over Mason, who has not played a lot of minutes here on the year for Missouri State. And Scott, we said you're not going to get 9 back here before the half, but
maybe
2 quick threes makes it a lot more feasible here. And so now with 48, Missouri State's going to run something. I don't think they'll run a 2-for-1 here. Potentially they do, but Illinois State looking at a stop and a score from a 1-possession game going into the half, where we just talked about it at 153. A 9-point deficit felt a little bit more insurmountable than what they've been able to do here.
Poindexter here in the first half has already set a new career high with 4 made 3-pointers. And before this day is done, it looks like he'll have a new career high in total points, as he already has 14.
10 threes in the last 5 halves of basketball here for Malachi. Illinois State now going to come out in that zone.
Alston Mason gets tripped up going down the baseline. He's gone for the travel.
So it will be a 2-for-1 for Missouri State inadvertently. It looks like they are going to try to. We'll see what Illinois State does. I mean, they have time, 8-second difference. I don't think so. So they'll probably run an offense here and try to get a stop. And we talked about it. You got the stop, now a score, and you can get to a 1-possession game here before the half. And you'd have to think the basketball is going to end up in the hands of number 1.
Redbirds are 3-8 this season when they trail at halftime, so they'd like to get a little bit closer. Poindexter from the baseline, too strong, gets his own rebound, and half-court Kazuki lost his shoe. We saw that happen last night at Northern Illinois, and the player was able to make a layup while holding his shoe. Not going to happen here, though, unfortunately, for our highlight benefit. Knight, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Spinning, fading from 15. Very tough shot. Rebound, Monkbo, and will be launched from 3-quarter court, wide right by Dalen Original. Good burst, though, at the end of the first half, specifically by Malachi Poindexter. It was a 9-point game. It'll be 4 into the locker room. Illinois State has to feel a little bit better about that.
Have to. Malachi Poindexter, really a good half there. 14 of the Redbirds, 34 of 6 from the 3-point line. Illinois State was trailing, hadn't scored in 5.5 minutes, and cuts it to 4.
All right, 34-30. Missouri State leads Illinois State at halftime. You're watching The Valley on ESPN. Moments away from the second half starting here in Normal. 34-30, Missouri State on top of Illinois State. Let's take a look at our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. 2 other games going on. Indiana State in danger of losing its first conference game. They are trailing SIU right now by 6 in that one. Bradley with an 18-point lead on Evansville in the second half of that one as well. That's your Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Visit Toyota.com. Scott Sudikoff, Sean Johnson with you. Second half, moments from starting here. As Missouri State looking to get their 5th conference win. Illinois State looking for their 3rd. Let's revisit these keys here, Sean. How have the 2 teams done?
Well, getting multiple scorers involved. Original at 8, Chancemore with 10. That's about it. So going to need a 3rd guy to get involved. And Missouri State did win the first half. We've talked trends. It's not always predictive, but the Illinois State Redbirds this year, 3-8 when trailing at the half. Missouri State 7-1 when leading. For Illinois State, as far as your keys, maximizing possessions, 9 turnovers so far. When you run your offense, it's looked good in defending the perimeter. Missouri State 6 of 15 from 3. They're going to keep chucking it. So we'll see if Illinois State can contest the 3-point shot here to start the second half.
Missouri State has the basketball to begin the second with the 4-point lead, being led by Chancemore's 10 points. Original with 8, a couple of 3-pointers that he has made. They try to enter it for Mogbo, knocked away by Kendall Lewis. Illinois State being led by Malachi Poindexter, 14 points for him, a career high, 4 made 3-pointers coming off his career day, 18 points Saturday at Evansville. Shot clock winding down. Clay bounces it off the leg of Knight. Here comes Lewis, trying to get through 2 defenders, and either Original or Clay will be called for this personal foul. It'll be Clay, his second.
Seneca Knight rewarded with the second half start in place of Hirona Sissoko, and we mentioned it, Knight, tremendous minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, and only 12, and right there causes a steal. And he and Donovan Clay now, we talked about the start of the game with Kendall Lewis, he and Clay really going at it. Wouldn't be surprised if we get an off-the-ball whistle here between the two of them early.
Poindexter inside tonight, spins to the baseline, lost it momentarily, goes up against Clay. Lewis flies in for the rebound, collides with Knight, and loses the ball out of bounds. You don't score if you're Illinois State, but you get a good look at the hoop, and then you're crashing the boards as well. So not a bad start because you had a defensive stand and then a decent look at the rim.
Not at all, and that was a good set. Usually Seneca Knight goes and sets that away screen and kind of faked it. He took 2 steps like he was in the screen and turned and sealed Clay, and right there.
Steal by Burford to the cup, the two-hand flush. 2-point game.
Athleticism on full display there, and we've seen enough of Missouri State swinging the ball around the perimeter until Darius Burford read that one.
Illinois State has never led today. Missouri State is led by as many as 9. This will be a foul on Burford, just his first. Reference the halftime records. Missouri State 7-1 when they lead at the break this year. 7 of their 8 wins. While Illinois State 3-8 when they trail at the break. Those are the first 2 points Illinois State has scored off a Bear turnover today. Clay, open 3, front rimmed it. Offensive rebound, put back short by Kendall Moore, but he was fouled.
It will be interesting to see what happens if Illinois State is able to take the lead. There's a certain comfort from playing from ahead, and Missouri State really hasn't had any tension tonight. They've led the entire way, and outside of the end of the half where Malachi Poindexter hit those 2 threes, really have kind of controlled this game, and Illinois State has an opportunity at a one-possession game here to look at a tie or a lead, and have to think the mindset of Missouri State changes a little bit here if you start to play from behind.
That was his second foul now on Burford. Kendall Moore, 1 for 2 at the line. Rebounding so far in this game, 20-17 in favor of Missouri State. They have 9 offensive rebounds for 8 second chance points. Redbirds have 5 offensive boards for 5 second chance points. 2 of the top 3 rebounding teams in the Valley matching up here tonight. Seneca Knight, watched by Clay. Poindexter, shot clock is at 5, and Kendall Moore all over him. And they call the foul on Moore.
Advantage Illinois State so far if this game gets a little tighter from the whistle. We've had 4 fouls total, but we've mentioned it. Missouri State struggles from the line. Only 5 of 11, last in the country in free throw percentage. And so if this turns into a whistle affair, advantage Redbirds.
That's the 3rd foul on Kendall Moore. Lewis gets a step with the right hand. Good finish moving left to right for Kendall Lewis. His first field goal of the game. He has 4 points total. And this ball game is back to a 1-point game, 35-34. It's never been tied, and Illinois State's never led. And now a chance for that first lead as Poindexter picks up the loose basketball. Gets the screen from Lewis. Lewis will take the 3. Flying in, Kazubki keeping it free. Knight picks up the loose ball, so a great hustle play by Kazubki and Knight. And then Knight fouled as he throws that one out to the perimeter.
Good offense there, good passed up shot by Malachi Poindexter. I think it's a struggle sometimes when you're a scorer and you've had 14 in the first half. You want to stay hot and keep it going. You almost don't want to go into the locker room. And right there, thought about his first attempt and passed up a contested one that led to a Kendall Lewis open 3. And that's what you like to see if you're Ryan Peden. You want good offense, no turnovers, and a good shot there from Kendall Lewis. And Kasuki keeps the play alive.
3rd foul on Donovan Clay. N.J. Benson is checked in for Missouri State. Lewis almost left without the basketball there. Burford fakes. Beautiful move and the finish, and Illinois State has its first lead off the bucket by Darius Burford. A little Rajon Rondo there from Burford.
The resiliency from the Redbirds on full display and able to get the lead here early, which is huge.
Trying for the lead back. No good. 3-ball by Kendallmore. The rebound by Kazuki. Up ahead, Knight finds the open Burford. Moore was able to get over there and close out. Great pass, bounce to Knight, and the finish off the window. And Illinois State has a 3-point lead, 38-35. They've outscored Missouri State 8-1 here in the second half. And the Redbirds have their first lead of the game. It's out to 3. We got a timeout on the floor. 38-35, Illinois State. Illinois State has taken the lead for the first time today, 38-35. Let's take a look at the current Valley standings. Indiana State out top. They were losing at last check, though, to SIU. Of course, still top 2 teams right now in the Valley. Indiana State, first time they've been 6-0 since. I'm putting you on the spot. Since
I could not answer that.
1978, 1979. Of course, who was on the team?
They had a good player, Larry Bird.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was decent.
I heard it. I think he went on to do some things.
He was okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Decent. All right, Missouri State basketball. A whistle away from the ball. Fouls mounting up. That'll be the third team foul on Illinois State. Missouri State already has 3.
Burford's third of the half, and so a guy who's kind of been instrumental on the offensive end. He had the steal for the dunk, the rondo for the putback, and then the backdoor pass, and so he's contributed to the last 6 buckets, and not a guy you want to have 3 fouls in the first 4 minutes. We'll see if he can limit the physicality here, still make an impact defensively.
Strong finish by Chance Moore. He has 12 points. By the way, I think we're trying to name as many Celtics that won championships. That's Bird and Rondo so far. Burford with the step. Just too quick sometimes for defenders to keep up with, and Alston Mason could not stay in front. Four team fouls on Missouri State. And Burford is at the free throw line in the act of shooting. 6 points in the game for Darius, the junior from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Was transferring in from Elon, where he was a third team All-CAA last year. Led the Phoenix with 13.4 points per game. 84% free throw shooter. 2 for 2 at the charity stripe. He'll check out now, and Colton Sandage will come in.
Great job by Ryan Peden, giving the veteran guard a little extra leash there. Most coaches would pull after 3 fouls, gave him an extra defensive possession that rewarded his coach there. And Burford up to 8, 6 of those here in the first 4 minutes of the half.
3 balls short by Mason. Sandage snares the rebound.
And this one feels like it's starting to teeter here for Missouri State. They're rushing, they're taking contested shots, a missed post up, and right now 4 of the last 5 field goals for the Redbirds, as now they have the opportunity to get it to a 2-possession game.
Redbirds are 4 of 6 shooting the ball here in the second half, now 45% for the game. Kazubki got in the air, bounces, baseline cut, and then Lewis had it blocked. Missouri State trying to turn some defense to offense. No, Illinois State wants to turn defense to offense. They get the steal as Poindexter reached in, and a foul. Kendall Lewis almost with a no-look bank shot. Will bring us to a timeout with 15:02 to go in half number 2. The Redbirds outscoring the Bears 10-3 here in the second half and have a 3-point lead. 3-point Illinois State lead here in the second half. A trip to Arch Madness in St. Louis isn't complete without visiting the MVC Fan Hangout. Arch Madness tips off March 2nd through the 5th, and the MVC Fan Hangout at Ballpark Village is the best place to celebrate before and after games, featuring restaurants, entertainment, and all things Arch Madness. For more information, visit archmadness.com or download the Arch Madness app today. Scott Sudikoff, Sean Johnson back with you. Before the timeout, Sean, a 4th foul on Donovan Clay, our player to watch from the outset of our broadcast. Has to sit down. Only 5 points, a couple of rebounds in 23 minutes of action.
The second half there, the start was critical, and you knew one of these two teams was going to respond coming out of the break, and Illinois State was in the locker room a little bit longer, and you get the sense maybe that Missouri State felt pretty comfortable. And right now we're going to get the officials on the floor talking, and 5 fouls already from Missouri State. But Original, even before that, going into the break, he and Knight got tied up in the Illinois State huddle. Original kind of bumped into Peden as well. And off the basketball, there's been a lot of physicality, and right now this game is starting to get chippy. We'll see if the officials tighten it up.
Knight spins away from Original and hits. Pretty shot by Seneca Knight. Double figures for him. He has 11, his 9th time in double figures this season.
And there's a very mature response from Seneca Knight. Instead of getting involved with Original, he just calmly puts the jumper. But another away from the ball foul here, as I think they're going to get Kendall Lewis pushing through a screen.
5 team fouls on Missouri State, 4 now on Illinois State, 14:45 left. So we are headed towards that possible free throw shooting contest that, in terms of the numbers, would be very much in Illinois State's favor.
Yeah, at some point here, one of these two teams is going to stop the physicality, stop the pushing. They're going to start playing their game, and whoever does that first, you feel like, is going to have the advantage here in the second half. Both teams kind of in each other's heads a little bit to start.
It's a 3rd foul on Lewis. He went to the bench. Kendall Moore explodes to the hoop. Offensive rebound, Mogbo. It rolls around and in, and a chance for a 3-point play for Jonathan Mogbo.
The motor on Jonathan Mogbo is just high level, as he never really stops fighting for rebounds. And for a guy that is playing on a perimeter-oriented team who doesn't get a lot of post touches, creating his own offense right here, just fighting through contact, able to finish. Impressive effort there from Mogbo.
McChesney becomes the 3rd Redbird with 3 fouls, joining Burford and Lewis. Mogbo knocks down the free throw. He's 2 for 5 at the line. 5 points, 7 rebounds. The 6'8", 225-pound junior transferred in from northeastern Oklahoma A&M. And Brian Trimble, talked about, hasn't played the last 6 games. Into the lineup now. A senior, played the last 2 years in Akron and 2 prior years at St. John's. .42-40 Illinois State. Poindexter backing it out. McChesney slipping away from the screen. 7 to shoot. It's falling out of bounds. Knight with 3. Got a couple of men in the air and then turned right into Mogbo. And Mogbo will be whistled for the foul. Maybe a tough break for Jonathan Mogbo. It looked like Seneca Knight mostly just spun right into him. Let's check it out. Well, he was in the air, so that's why.
He was, and things starting to go Illinois State's way there. Liam McChesney kind of bobbled the basketball as it was going out of bounds, threw it over his head, and then Seneca Knight lost it, but was able to run into essentially a flying Jonathan Mogbo in a possession that in the past few games in the first half for Illinois State has resulted in a turnover, results in free throws, and you feel the momentum starting to shift a little bit here in the Redbirds' favor.
Knight will shoot 2. 11 points today, 6 rebounds, and 18 minutes of action. And now 6 of 6 at the free throw line. And that big game against Murray State had a double-double, 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 15 last time out against Evansville. He's got 13 now tonight. Missouri State led the entire first half, led by as many as 9, led by 4 at halftime. Rebound gets tipped to Poindexter off the missed 3. And another quick 3-point shot there by the Bears.
Yeah, I would like to say that Missouri State should run some offense and get good shots, but I don't think that's really in their repertoire. I think that is a good shot for them as point guard ball screen, launch a 3 and hope for an offensive rebound, and it's worked here occasionally, but not so far in the second half.
Poindexter hasn't needed to score yet here in the second half. Takes the 15-footer. The shot clock winding down. And a rebound off the floor for Rafe Ayers, who picked up 3 quick fouls in the first half, played only 5 minutes.
And one of the downsides here to Donovan Clay playing so well recently is now his foul trouble. Who's going to score the basketball here for the Bears in the second half as Donovan Clay sits with 4 fouls?
Chancemore leads the team right now with 12. Ridgenall has 8. That was all in the first half. Chancemore misses the three-pointer from the corner. Kazumke the rebound. Ahead for Knight. Knight will drive, kick. Sandage from the corner for 3. And the rebound, Mogbo tips it to himself. Redbirds have now gone cold. No field goals in the last 2.5 minutes. They have a 4-point lead. Mogbo, guarded by McChesney. Kicks it out Moore. Now to Kendall Moore. And then Chancemore crashing the glass, can't control it. Illinois State ball. As Alston Mason will return for Missouri State, as well as N.J. Benson. And for Illinois State, we'll see Alex Kodov, who saw some time in the first half, played 4 minutes, had a couple of rebounds.
As long as Illinois State keeps defending the perimeter, I feel like Missouri State is playing right into their hands. It seems like they're almost taking turns. It's just who gets to shoot a three-pointer and try to get an offensive rebound. Illinois State, credit defensively, have really pushed the Bears out on that side of the floor.
Illinois State, no turnovers thus far here in the second half. Knight. First Sandage, catch and shoot 3 in the air. Too strong. And they say that was off of Kodov, who walk up the other side of the floor with a big smile on his face, and now head to the bench with a timeout. 11:48 remaining, second half. Illinois State trying to finish off a come-from-behind victory. They trailed by 9 in the first half. Got a 4-point lead here in the second on the Valley on ESPN. Check out the control room here at Illinois State. Our great crew behind the scenes getting us on the air here. 44-40, Illinois State leads Missouri State here on the Valley on ESPN. The Arch Madness app is the official app of the 2023 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament. The app has all the information you need to plan your trip to St. Louis, including the tournament schedule, tickets, hotel accommodations, and special events during Arch Madness. Log on to archmadness.com or download the Arch Madness app on your Android or iOS device now. Let's look at Malachi Poindexter leading the way, 14 points tonight for the Redbirds, 5 of 9 shooting. He's made a career-high 4 3-pointers in this game, but he hasn't had a score yet here in the second half, and his team has outscored Missouri State by 8.
Hasn't scored, but hasn't really needed to, and part of that is because of the Illinois State defensive effort. The Missouri State Bears, 2 of 10, starting the half, 0 of 6 from 3. See if they can get something started here as they trail by 4 for the first time.
Both teams on a drought of over 2 minutes, and a good strip down low by Kazumke, taking it away from Benson. It's a 10th Missouri State turnover, 4th of the second half, and the Redbirds still stuck, which is a good thing, at 9 turnovers. You want to be stuck.
You do right now, yes, especially after the first half as we get...
Backdoor, Burford fouled by Chancemore. Chancemore's making sure Burford didn't have a highlight reel finish there.
Illinois State has found something here on the offensive end. That's the third back cut that has led to either a layup or a foul. We had the one to take the lead that Burford threw tonight, and right there, Burford gets one back. The athleticism, you mentioned it, good foul by Chancemore, hard foul, but they're starting to rack up for the Bears. That's 7 this half.
Burford, 8 points. Now 9, 3 of 3.
The halftime adjustments have been telling, Scott. Illinois State just needed to do some things better, and you mentioned it. They haven't turned the basketball over one time here in 9 minutes and have defended the three-point line better. And it seems simple to say, but sometimes you just need to find yourself and do what you do, but do it better. And coming out of the locker room here in the second half, this is about as good as Illinois State's looked in a 10-minute stretch for quite a while.
Burford, who averages 11, now has 10 tonight. And the lead now up to 6, the largest it's been for Illinois State. Missouri State led by as many as 9. That was at 33-24 with 2 minutes left in the first half. They led by 4 at the break. This is going to be a foul, I think, on Burford, and that'll be his 4th. The ball was loose, and it did look like he put his arm in the back of the Missouri State player there along the baseline.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a replay, almost like pass interference in football, used that trail arm to maybe push down.
Oh, no, maybe just the arm contact. Definitely a tough one. And now Burford with 4. He goes to the bench. Remember, Donovan Clay has 4 for Missouri State, but he's in the game now. He's back out there. Long 3, Chance Moore. Side iron, rebound by Seneca Knight. Knight now with 7 rebounds to lead the Redbirds in that category. Poindexter left alone, takes the 3. Front rimmed it. Mogbo with his 9th rebound. Here's Clay. Kick out, Alston Mason. Alston's father, Alton, played at Arizona State back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Clay, defender fell down. Poindexter. Well, I don't know if Poindexter sold it or not, but not a bad idea.
You could almost see that coming, Scott. I was going to mention it looked like Poindexter was waiting to take a hit, almost aware that Clay had 4. Missouri State's going to the zone now, try to take away some of that cutting action that Illinois State has had success with here this half.
46-42, Kazubke with the 3, way too strong. And the rebound falls to Chance Moore.
And one of the reasons outside of the cutting to go to a zone if you're Dana Ford is we get another 3-point look here for the Bears.
Offensive rebound, Mogbo. He's got 10 boards now, and will have a chance to get to a double-double at the free throw line.
Yeah, one of the reasons I think Dana Ford went to zone, we've talked about it, 7 fouls already this half, so maybe going into a little bit of protection mode. And Clay has 4, Moore has 3, Ayers has 3, and the back cuts are hurting you, the fouls are hurting you. Why not try a zone at least and just see if it takes away from some of that back cutting and the fouling that's plagued the Bears so far.
Mogbo, 8 points, 10 rebounds. Now 1 point away from his second double-double of the season. He had a 14-point, 10-rebound output against Evansville. Saw Dana Ford, that tie very much loosened.
0 for 9 from 3 to start the half will probably do that to you as a head coach.
And Mogbo, the double-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds. And 4 of 7 at the free throw line, pulls his team within 2. Clay will go to the bench now with those 4 fouls. And see, about a minute and a half before a media timeout. But now Illinois State will call a timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. And we'll leave Illinois State with 2 timeouts remaining. Missouri State will have 2 left as well in this 2-point game. And as you can see, both teams are in the bonus, so got a chance for a lot of free throws in Missouri State tonight. Not too bad. 8 of 14, 57%. While Illinois State is 13 of 14 at the line.
I think coming out of this timeout, both teams really feel ambivalent almost, Scott. You can feel really good if you're the Redbirds because you've held Missouri State to 0 for 9 from the three-point line. You're not turning the basketball over, but in the same breath, you're only up 2 points in Missouri State. Likewise, you've really struggled offensively here. You're in foul trouble, but Dana Ford's message to his team is pretty simple here. Hey, this is as bad as we could be, and it's a 2-point game. So let's get back to what we were doing in the first half, and we're right in this thing.
Illinois State outscoring Missouri State 16-10 here in the second half. But the Redbirds don't have a field goal in the last 5 minutes and 27 seconds. Still have a 2-point lead. Poindexter, Knight, Kazubke, Lewis, Sandage, the 5 for the Redbirds. Lewis trying to hand it off to Poindexter. Pinballs around and out of bounds off of Missouri State. 14 on the shot clock for the Redbirds. Illinois State shooting 38%. Missouri State now 37%. Both teams have gone very cold. Knight forcing his way down low, fades away and kisses it home. 15 points now for Seneca Knight. Stops that field goal drought that was almost 6 minutes long. Mogbo, guarded by Lewis, reaches in, and then Sandage will pick it up on the run. Colton Sandage to the hoop, draws a 4th foul on Rafe Ayers. Good hands there. Sandage and Lewis combined for
the steal, and one of the things that's plagued the Redbirds is when they've had runs, they've turned the basketball over and let teams back in Missouri State. Now you're at a point, see Colton Sandage, just an energy play, just faster to the basketball than the Bears, and Missouri State doesn't have a lot of time here to play with to be giving away possessions on the offensive end, especially when they've shot it so poorly this half.
It's a 7th Illinois State steal in this game. As Sandage misses the first free throw, hasn't scored yet today. Donovan Clay back in now. I was thinking that Dana Ford might hold him out until the under 8 timeout, but this is one of those offense-defense situations.
Yeah, I think you're hoping for a good 50 seconds here where Donovan Clay, you trust him as a veteran who's played so many games in his career, the 1,000-point scorer, knows not to foul out, but we've talked about the offensive struggles. Dana Ford's going to have Donovan Clay on the floor.
Missouri State 3 of 13 this half. That's 23% from the field. Clay trying to go to work, kicks it out to Chance Moore. Moore now, down low, double team. 5 to shoot. Clay off the dribble, flips it up and in off the glass, and there's Donovan Clay getting his points number 6 and 7 of the day. Poindexter, again, yet to score here in the second half. 14 in the first half. Lewis skips it out. Extra pass. Knight. Defender flies by. Sandage. Poindexter. And now Kazubke for 3. Super patient possession by Illinois State. And a wide open 3 by Luke Kazubke.
And that basketball, it deserved to go in. Every single player on the Illinois State offense touched it. There was 3 extra passes, no bad ones. Poindexter patiently finds Kazubke, and that's just good basketball right there from the Redbirds.
52-46. Clay back to Mason in the corner. Down the baseline. Finds an open man for 3, and that's Original. He was quiet all second half at 8 first half points. He has 11. Timeout was called by, I believe, Missouri State. That will give us, though, the under 8 media timeout. With 7:32 left to go, we got a good one here in Normal. Redbirds 52, Bears 49. Illinois State 52, Missouri State 49 here in the second half. We take a look at the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard, and Southern Illinois does hand Indiana State its first loss of the season. Salukis now 5-2. Indiana State 6-1 in conference play, and then Bradley handing it to Evansville tonight, 84-35. That's your Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Visit Toyota.com. And before the timeout, 3-pointer by Dalen Original. The first points of the second half for him, pulling the Bears within 3. Seneca Knight leading the way now for Illinois State with 15 points, with 7 rebounds in 24 minutes of play. We're set up for a nice finish here with 7:32 remaining. Remember, these two teams in the first conference game of the season last year here in Normal, they went to overtime. Illinois State would win that day, but very different looking teams on both sides. Missouri State, of course, only bringing back one starter, Donovan Clay, of course, graduating the dynamic duo of Gage Prim and Isaiah Mosley, the highest scoring duo in Missouri State history. 5 to shoot. Sandage, pull up. And Lewis got his hands on it, and it is off of Missouri State. Monbo, the last to touch it.
It's always interesting, Scott, to see the game within the game, and so far, every single called timeout, Dana Ford has come out in a zone, and you get the sense that maybe during the scout they saw that Illinois State likes to run things out of dead balls, and we did see the backdoor layup with the one time they weren't in zone, and so Missouri State here back to man-to-man, but thus far every called timeout, Dana Ford has come out to try to stop a set play from the Redbirds.
Knight will throw it out and get fouled. That's a 19 foul, so still 1-1. If that's on Ayers, he's out of the game. It's not. Dalen Original, his second. It'll be 1-1 for Knight.
7 of 7 from the line so far. Seneca Knight, 15 points, 7 rebounds without a turnover in only 24 minutes, so about as efficient as we've seen Seneca play this year, as remains perfect from the line here and extends the Redbird lead back to 4.
Redbirds have played over 13 minutes here in the second half without turning it over. So even though they struggled to shoot the ball in the second half, although they've shot much better than Missouri State overall, 41%, 33% in this half, they've been able to maintain this lead. Game high 17 points for Seneca Knight. Sandage got a hand on it, bats it out of bounds. 16 on the timer for Missouri State. Bears trying to avoid a 2-game losing streak after losing to Belmont on Saturday. They had won 3 in a row before that. Northern Iowa, Drake, and Evansville the victories. Timeout called Illinois State. They'll get the possession out of this. We'll leave them with 1 timeout left. With 6:38 left to go in the second half. 54-49 Illinois State. Now, Sean, you were here the last time the Redbirds were at home, and now a week later, more than a week later, have this 5-point lead here against Missouri State. What have been the differences in the play for the Redbirds that have given them this lead?
I think it's 2 things. I think we have harped on it. I know the Northern Iowa game, it was talked about extensively. We've touched on it because of the Evansville game. They had 19. Illinois State hasn't turned the basketball over in the entire second half. And what Ryan Thate is building, what they're able to do offensively, the skill level of some of these guys, it's never fully on display when you're turning the basketball over. And so valuing the basketball, maximizing your possessions, no turnovers, and then they've done a really, really good job defensively. They've taken away what Missouri State wants to do. And 1 of 9 from the three-point line. And I know it seems simple, but sometimes, Scott, doing the simple things as well as you possibly can is laying the foundation for when you continue to take steps. And so we'll see. Illinois State hasn't been in a position to finish basketball games a ton this year. We'll see how they handle playing with a lead here the last 6:30.
Trailed the entire first half by as many as 9. It was 34-30 Missouri State at halftime. Illinois State took a lead at 36-35, and they haven't given it back to the Bears since. 1 lead change, no ties in this entire ball game. And now a 10th team foul and 2 free throws. The foul was on Chance Moore.
An exasperated Dana Ford telling Chance Moore, you need to be smarter than that. Tries to back tap the basketball there on Luke Kasuki, who's not even really making a scoring move. And instead of setting up your defense out of a timeout, you give away free throws to the best free throw shooting team in the Missouri Valley. Not necessarily a recipe for success if you're Missouri State.
Illinois State now 18 of 20 at the free throw line tonight. 7-point lead. Largest lead for Illinois State. Reginald from the corner made one from the opposite side earlier. Lewis had that knocked off of him out of bounds. So he had position for the rebound. So the shot clock will be at 20. It'll be Bears basketball. Ryan Peated going to get his 3rd Valley win on the season. 3-pointer Chance Moore is good. Nestles home for Chance Moore. He's got 15. It's 2 of 7 from 3, but it pulls the Bears within 4. Knight in the lane, spinning, defender in the air, and then Mogbo almost got a hand on it, but Seneca Knight lays it home softly. 19 now for the 5th-year senior transfer.
I know Dana Ford wants to stop the fouls and has gone into that zone, but the high post is wide open, and so far Illinois State just camping Seneca Knight in there, catching the basketball about 10 feet away and able to make a move.
That'll be an offensive foul on Jonathan Mogbo. No basket. It'll be his 3rd personal. And Illinois State will take over the basketball.
Danger time here for Missouri State. A 2 here makes it an 8-point game. A 3 makes it a 9-point game. And the way they've shot the basketball, the fouls are mounting up. You sense some frustration from the Bears who are back in that zone. Seneca Knight has lived in the high post. We'll see if they find him there again.
Knight gives it back to Poindexter. Shot clock at 10. Now it's on the baseline. Lewis slips it to the corner. That's a very tough pass to make. And There is the first turnover of the second half for Illinois State. It took 14 minutes and 54 seconds to happen. Burford, remember, he has 4 fouls, goes to the bench. Ayers and Clay have 4 for Missouri State. Clay is out there for the Bears. Mason underneath. Mogbo, the finish with Lewis hovering around him.
And I think when Missouri State watches this film, they're going to regret the shot selection because so far Jonathan Mogbo has been very good.
And we had a steal by Chance Moore, fouled by Sandage at half court. Colton in disbelief. It looked as if it was going to be a wide open dunk down the opposite end. Instead, it'll be a 1-and-1 situation. Not the worst trade-off again if you're Illinois State when you look at the statistics from the free throw line. Moore is 3 for 5 today.
And this is what you don't want to have happen. They went, Scott, you said 14 minutes without the turnovers, and now Lewis throws one out of bounds on the baseline. Knight kind of walks through a pass, doesn't deliver it crisply, and all of a sudden, the opportunity to go up 8 or 9 is now a 1-possession game because of those turnovers. See if Illinois State can't get back to getting a good offensive possession here after the second free throw. 16
points for Chance Moore. 7th time this year he's been at 15 or more. Averaging 13 a game. 2 for 2. He now has 17. 2-point game, 4:39 and counting left in the second half. The only competitive Missouri Valley game still going on right now. Southern Illinois beat Indiana State, and Bradley was laying a whooping on Evansville. Shot clock winding down here, 5 to shoot. Poindexter lost it, got it back, 2-1, blocked, shot clock violation. And now all of a sudden Missouri State's defense has gotten a jolt, helped out by their offense and the couple of turnovers. Now it's 3 in a row for the Redbirds.
The length at the top of the zone is bothering the Illinois State guards. There's not a lot of passing lanes and certainly not any shooting ones. Malachi Poindexter might have had a longer one. I think waited too long. He could have shot it from about 27 but tried to toe the line there.
Missouri State looks to tie or take the lead back. Clay will tie it. Donovan Clay with 9. The first time today the game has been tied outside of 0-0. We start anew with 3:45 left, tied at 58. 6-0 run by Missouri State.
That's the shot I think Malachi Poindexter is going to be able to take. Mogbo's length is really causing problems for Malachi.
Kickball violation. It'll be Redbird basketball, and we come back after our final media timeout. All tied up at 58. You're watching The Valley on ESPN. .58 with 3:34 remaining. We've referenced this. Missouri State, great road team over the last 3 years in Valley play. Their record in the last 21 MVC road games, 15-6. 2-1 on the road so far this year. The Road Warriors are Missouri State right now. You look at the situation here, both teams have 1 timeout left. Possession arrow is in Illinois State's favor. 10 team fouls Missouri State, so the Redbirds shooting 2. Illinois State has 8 team fouls, so still 1 more foul in the 1-and-1.
Missouri State back into man-to-man here out of the timeout. Probably thought Illinois State ran something for a zone, and so switching defenses, but
there's a foul and 2 free throws coming.
And Dana Ford's frustration seems to be at a tipping point here as another one. There, Knight again, not really in a scoring position, and instead just a hand check, and the fouls have plagued the Bears here, and Illinois State shoots free throws so well. Knight 9 of 9, sending him to the line here for 2.
That's a 4th on Mogbo. Seneca Knight, 20 points now. 10 of 10 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds in 28 minutes of play. Second free throw, and it spins off. Ties his season high, though, right now with 20 points. 1-point game, 59-58. Mason backed it out. Wide open for a three momentarily. Lewis really shut that down quickly. Mason into the lane. Kicks it out. Clay. Mason again. 8 on the shot clock. Trying to slip by Kazubki. Puts it up. Rolls out. Rebound by Knight. 2 rebounds away from a double-double. Burford. Trying to get rid of it. And the steal, Mogbo. He's been all over the place. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. The steal there, he's got a couple of those. 3-pointer, no good, and Lewis the rebound. Missouri State can't take advantage.
Back zone again here. Switching defenses, trying to keep the Redbirds offense from finding a rhythm late.
Shot clock at 10, Kazubki. Burford, 5 to shoot. Poindexter looking for his first points in the second half. And the rebound, Alston Mason. 2 minutes left, tied at 58.
Yeah, just a breakdown there from Missouri State.
1 point lead for Illinois State. Clay. Mogbo will put it back out.
See what Dana Ford runs here. The entire offense the second half has kind of been predicated on Jonathan Mogbo.
Chance Moore. 6 on the shot clock against Knight. Drawing the foul. And Chance Moore will shoot 2 on Seneca Knight's second personal foul.
Official must have had a good view of that on the baseline. From our angle, Chance Moore kind of jumped into Seneca Knight, but it looks like he does get caught with the hands horizontal as opposed to vertical. Does create some contact, but Chance Moore is 17. Good scorers have some tricks in their bag to draw fouls like that.
5 of 7 at the line tonight. He's played 37 minutes. 17 points. Still a chance to tie it.
We'll see if Missouri State goes back to that zone. If it's man-to-man, the Illinois State back-cutting actions have worked really well.
0 for 2 at the line, but Mason gets the rebound as it just bounced away from Poindexter.
I think Jonathan Mogbo has to get a touch here if you're Missouri State.
He's 4 of 5 from the field. Mason, dribble drive, blocked by Lewis. Mason went switching from his left to his right, and that was actually a bad idea because Lewis was there to slam it off the backboard. Shot clock was at 2. They have reset it. Did that ball hit the rim on the shot block?
I don't think
Illinois
so. State should ask to look at the shot clock. It should not be at 20.
Yeah, now, Ryan Pete is making the signal. Yep, and the official, I think, pointed 2. They are making it 2 on the shot clock. They got it right there. We saw the replay. The block was just off the board. And now Dana Ford.
We're going to get a video review to just confirm.
Yeah, so, and that's in Dana Ford's benefit because right now he's going to draw up a play for 2 on the shot clock. And if they happen to get 20, they'll just adjust.
Yeah, and really a benefit, like you said, for Dana Ford. They only have 1 timeout left. And so the ability here, and I think Dana Ford might have been the one who asked for the video review, probably a little gamesmanship, understanding the timeout situation. Scott's going to get an answer here, but I think when we come out of this, it's going to be 2 on the shot clock with Missouri State inbounding underneath. Scott, what'd you get?
Just exactly what we knew. Just checking the possible timing error. But in this case, you may have said this. I had my headset off, but for Dana Ford, well within his right to ask for the challenge for the review because of the miscommunication with the clock. So hey, I want to see to make sure this is right. Sure. You know, if they had just kept it at 2 immediately and not had a little issue, they may have not given him the review.
Yeah, so coming out right here, Illinois State, you can't foul. I mean, point blank, period. This is going to be some type of lob play. You're going to get Mogbo most likely, maybe Donovan Clay on a back-cutting action. You can even, Chance Moore is an athletic guard. You might get him in a mismatch, cutting to the hoop. But one of those 3 players is going to be cutting to the basket for a lob. There's just not a lot of time to catch and shoot. So Illinois State, you just can't foul here. This would be detrimental. You're going to be putting Missouri State in the double bonus. You just need to play good defense. And next, Missouri State crashes the glass. You have to clean up the rebounds here, whatever happens on the inbounds.
Missouri State does have 14 offensive rebounds for 16 second chance points. So the shot clock stays at 2. They lob it in. Ridgnall, great play, can't finish, goes over the back of Sandage, and that's a foul. It's got to be on Ridgnall, right? Can't see how it's not.
I think they called it on Colton Sandage. Kendall Lewis looks stunned, and there's several players. And yeah, the Illinois State team is exasperated. They're going to get Colton Sandage grabbing Reginald's arm despite the fact.
If anything, he had to have locked his arm. That would be what you would do. If you had inside position on somebody, you might lock the arm behind you to prevent that player from jumping over the top of you for that rebound. Now, Reginald, that was a great play out of the timeout with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Let's check it out here.
Yeah, Colton Sandage pulls down Reginald from his right arm.
But the question here is Reginald creating that contact initially, though, on the back of Sandage?
I think the argument you have to make there is it's probably a no call. Like you said, Scott, if Reginald's, every player is entitled to their space on the floor. So did Reginald come into Colton Sandage's space? Obviously, I think the answer is yes. Did Colton Sandage grab Reginald's arm? The angle we're getting in the building right now is not the close-up. And I just think you're right. I don't know if you can call that a foul on Colton Sandage.
Yeah, on the video board they showed the wider angle.
Yes.
Here on the broadcast we showed you more up close where you can see Sandage's arm pulling him down. But the question is, did Reginald get over his back first?
Sure, and the reality of the situation if you're Ryan Pete and you're the Redbirds is they called a foul. So you cannot dwell on this. He has the whiteboard out. They're going to draw something up on offense. Good on Coach Pete to not let his guys dwell. This is one of those calls that you can really turn some momentum, but Illinois State is going to use this to try to fuel some offense. We'll see what he drew up, but regardless of how we feel and the crowd feels, Reginald's going to the line here.
The foul, the third on Sandage. They must have been checking to make sure who the foul was on and who was shooting free throws there. Reginald at the line. Ties the game at 59. His first free throw attempt of the day. 77% on the season. He's got 12 points. Had a big three-pointer not too long ago. For the lead for Missouri State. 60-59. So now, what you talked about. What did Illinois State draw up during that mini timeout?
Missouri State back in the zone. Mogbo at the top. Chance Moore extending it.
Sandage to the corner. Poindexter. He'll take the three. Bounces out. Rebound Mogbo. 57 seconds left. 1 point game.
Plenty of time here for Illinois State. The one thing you don't want to do is foul. You can get a stop and a rebound here, and you'll have the basketball, the chance to take the lead or win.
Double bonus both ways. Each team has one timeout left. Possession arrow in Illinois State's favor. Shot clock is at 8. Alston Mason off the dribble, spinning, kick out. Chance Moore for three. In and out. Almost a dagger. An offensive rebound. Reginald. He is fouled. And Dalen Reginald will go to the line for two with a gigantic offensive rebound. But even two free throws still keeps it a one-possession game.
Sure, we've talked about the struggles of Missouri State at the free throw line. Reginald himself, 2 of 2. Those were his first 2. I'm not sure what else Colton Sandage can do. It's just a physical mismatch, unfortunately. And Missouri State lives on the offensive glass. They're the best offensive rebounding team in the conference, and you're seeing why right now as Dalen Reginald just pushes his way to the basket, and second offensive rebound foul in the last minute of the game.
Missed the second, 2-point game. Shot clock off, 25 seconds left. Ryan Pete in, not calling the timeout now. Now he will. 21.3 seconds left. I was wondering what he might have been waiting for in that instance. 21.3 seconds left. Maybe waiting to see what Missouri State fell back into defensively and then calls it. Now, of course, if he draws it up for what he saw, good chance it changes. But I'm thinking if they, I don't know, what did they drop back into there? Did you notice Missouri State?
Missouri State was in the zone again. And
so if they were man-to-man, he may have said go.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's what we talked about, the game within the game and the gamesmanship. I think if you're Ryan Pete, you're probably drawing up 2 plays, which is why you took your last time out here. Yeah. I think you have a man look, you have a zone look. Both have a call, whether it's, you have names of plays, and one is man, one is zone, and when he comes out and sees what they're in, you have one of your 2 actions. And so now the question is, what are those 2 plays? Who gets the basketball? Well, look, Malachi Poindexter, 14 in the first half, hasn't scored. Seneca Knight has had a ton of success in the second half, and I think you want something going to the basket. probably going to go around the 8 or 7 second mark. Driving to the basket here, Scott, gives the opportunity to either get fouled, get all the way to the basket, or create an offensive rebound.
Yeah, you mentioned 8 or 7 seconds. You want to wait that long because obviously it does give you a little bit of chance for an offensive rebound, but if you score, you're trying to leave not a lot of time for Missouri State to get the game-winning shot.
I think 8 seconds is probably the perfect amount of time because it allows you to run a play, it allows you to try to score, it also allows you, if you don't score, to foul, and then on the other end, you're going to have 7 more seconds here with no timeouts left to get the ball up the floor. So I think probably around that 8-second mark is when you're going to trigger whatever play it is that you're going to run here if you're Ryan Pete.
Missouri State led by as many as 9 in the first half. They led all the way through to halftime. Illinois State's led by as many as 7 here in the second half. It's right now a 2-point Bears lead. 15 on the shot clock.
It is man-to-man.
Sandage. Now to Kazubki with 9. Inside, Lewis goes up, ties the game for the Redbirds with 6.6 seconds left. Missouri State has a timeout, not using it. Mason sprinting to the hoop, flips it up, had it blocked. The putback short by Jonathan Mogbo at the buzzer, and we are going to overtime for the second consecutive season in Normal in a game between Missouri State and Illinois State. 61-61. What did you think of Dana Ford not calling the timeout there from Missouri State? They got a pretty good drive to the hoop.
I think you should have called it, Scott. I just think that's, from my standpoint, I think the way this game has gone, the way Missouri State has run the half-court offense, I understand the tempo, but the basketball's in the hands of Mason, who's 1 for 8 with 2 points. Mogbo doesn't get a touch. Moore doesn't get a touch. Original has 14, and Donovan Clay's your best player. And so the 5th leading scorer taking the basketball to the hoop, I just don't see it really. I understand Dana Ford trying to catch a mismatch, and they did get the offensive rebound, but regardless, we can breathe and reset and head to overtime here as Ryan Pete drew up a great play, got the switch, and Kendall Lewis mismatch, good delivery, and it was right around that time, and we head to overtime.
We'll take a quick break, be back with overtime. Tied at Scott Sudikoff, Sean Johnson back with you. 61 all as we head to overtime. Again, Missouri State led by as many as 9 in the first half, led the entire first half, led 34-30 at halftime. Illinois State took its first lead at 36-35. Then they led the majority of the second half. Missouri State, though, crept ahead, had a 3-point lead here late, but Kendall Lewis with a bucket with 6 seconds left tied it. Missouri State elected not to use their timeout. They got a shot off, it was blocked, and overtime begins. What does Missouri State need to do here to have more consistent offense, though, in the overtime, Sean?
They have to share the basketball, and they need to get post touches. You see right here, Donovan Clay gets fouled, but finally a post touch. Missouri State just living and dying by the 3-pointer and crashing the glass. They haven't scored a field goal since the 3:54 mark of the second half. If not for Dalen Original crashing the glass to draw the fouls, Missouri State really struggling offensively, and right there, get your best player a touch. That's always a good recipe for Dana Ford.
3rd foul on Seneca Knight. Donovan Clay now 10 points. Remember, the fouls carry over, so double bonus, both sides. Missouri State, with that extra timeout, they now have 2. And Illinois State will have 1 timeout here in overtime as Clay knocks down both free throws. Illinois State for the game, 40% from the field. Missouri State, 37. Rebounding, +7 for Missouri State, as they have had 17 offensive rebounds and 19 second chance points. A big reason why they came back late to tie it and send it to overtime.
And I think Malachi Poindexter is going to have to take one of these top of the key 3-pointers just to bring Mogbo out. His size at the top of the zone, sinking in, is just taking every passing lane away from the top of the key.
Lewis will take the 3 and miss it. Kazuki punches it out. Poindexter for 3. And he has not made a shot yet in the second half, and now into overtime after 14 points in the first half of play. Second time the Redbirds have been in overtime this season. Lost the heartbreaker at Murray State, 70-67 in the conference opener. This is the first overtime game of the season for Missouri State. Ryan Trimble getting some more time here in overtime. Foul Knight, his 4th. And now Knight joins Sandage and Redbird with 4. The Bears, Mogbo, Clay, and Ayers have 4.
Just not sure where Seneca Knight got him. It feels like if that contact is a foul for a game like this, pretty much everything could be.
Clay just made a pair. Misses the front end here.
A lot of credit right now to Luke Kasubke. Missouri State is just running. Dana Ford's kind of doing a raise the roof motion for the call, and it's just a high ball screen, and Illinois State comfortable switching it. Luke Kasubke has been matched up with Jonathan Mogbo the majority of these possessions and really holding his own in the post, keeping Mogbo away from the basketball. That's been tremendously important for Illinois State, which is why Missouri State hasn't had a field goal now in over 5.5 minutes.
Illinois State, 3 double-figure scores. Knight tying a season high with 20. Poindexter, 14, all in the first half. Redbird with 10. He's on the bench right now. Knight, step back. Clay guarding him. Now Lewis with 2, with 1. Flips it up and in. And we've got Dalen Ridgnall, who is down for Missouri State.
He's in some pain. I don't know if he landed on a foot and rolled an ankle, or it's a knee or a cramp, but whatever it is, Dalen Ridgnall is going through it.
It looks like a cramp.
Okay, yes.
Just the way.
Yep.
And now they're stretching out his right leg on the floor right now. So looks like a cramping issue for Ridgnall, who's played well, 14 points in 36 minutes with 7 rebounds. A guy who was the MVC newcomer of the week just last week. Look out for 3rd and 4. He had, lands, and you could just, you could see, you could just kind of tell with his reaction to the pain. If you ever had a cramp,
yep.
And my guess is he has a cramp worse than I've ever had a cramp in my life. But you just for that 30-second to 1-minute period, you wonder what life was like without the cramp, right? You ever had such a bad headache that you just can't remember what it was like to not be in that pain? I feel like that might be the situation.
Looking at Dalen Ridgnall right now, I think he's having those exact thoughts because the camera's not on him, but he has not moved for a second. He is getting worked on by the athletic trainer on the right calf, but he is not making a lot of progress going anywhere but the middle of the key right now. And it's another free timeout for Missouri State. If you get back,
they're saying we got to get him some fluids.
Yep, we're
on the court.
Pickle juice or mustard, one of those home remedies. The crowd doesn't like it. I don't know why. The poor kid has a cramp.
I guess maybe their argument would be, all right, pick him up, get him off the floor, let's continue the game.
This is Dana. Almost the entirety of the Missouri State coaching staff is on the floor now. We've got 6 players, 4 coaches, and an athletic trainer for 1 cramp, which realistically, Scott, if you talk basketball, Dalen Ridgnall's loss is huge. He's found some mismatches against the guards. He had those 4 big free throws on 2 offensive rebounds, and this entirety of cramping has allowed Illinois State to talk timeout. So a 1-point game with 3:22 after a Lewis bucket. Missouri State's going to come out with the basketball.
Yeah, so, hopefully it's just a cramp, but obviously it's a very bad one right now.
It is the worst cramp I've ever seen.
Hopefully. Yeah, he's been huge. He's a big reason. Big first half with 8 points, 14 points total. And a big reason why late in the second half they were able to come back and take the lead back and then send this game to overtime. So they will work on him on the end of the bench and try to get him back in the game, you would think. Mason. Swallowed up by Kasubke. Shot clock winding down. Chance Moore got off the rim and then allows Moore to go get the rebound. And then he runs over Colton Sandage and the offensive foul. 4th foul on Chance Moore. If I'm Missouri State, though, I look at Chance Moore and I say, good play. You got the loose ball. You attack the rim. It's your 4th foul, but I think you'd like that aggressive play.
Yeah, that's a good take and a good pass, but Colton Sandage just does a great job getting outside that charged circle, taking a hit.
1-point Missouri State lead. Zone defense again. You got Mogbo at the top of it. That length has been an issue, as Sean has pointed out.
Yeah, they've moved Malachi Poindexter off of the top of the key.
Knight out of the corner. Kick out, Sandage with the shot clock buzzer going off. Loose ball foul on Missouri State, and it may be the 5th on Donovan Clay. It is. He will foul out of this game with 12 points in 36 minutes. A couple of rebounds, 3 assists. And now it'll be 2 free throws, I believe, for Kendall Lewis.
Yeah, Malachi Poindexter at that possession was moved off of the top of the key, and I said I wanted him to shoot over Mogbo. At some point, the best way to counteract the zone that Missouri State is in is Illinois State's going to have to make some shots. And so moving your best shooter in Malachi Poindexter off the basketball, trying to find him a look, was a good idea there by Ryan Peden, but credit to Kendall Lewis. The energy he provided there draws the box out foul, and now he has an opportunity here from the free throw line to give Illinois State a tie or a lead.
Illinois State looking for its 2nd straight win, trying to get to 3-4 in conference play. Missouri State trying to avoid a 2nd straight loss. They're 4-2 in Valley play. The Bears have won 5 of the last 6 overall meetings with Illinois State. Redbirds, though, won here December of 2021 to begin the Valley season a year ago in overtime, 79-74. 2 for 2 for Lewis at the free throw line. 65-64. Illinois State. Lewis now with 10 points as the crowd comes alive inside Seneca Arena. Mason dribbles it back out top, gives it to Trimble. Original still on the bench, but he is not being tended to anymore. Mogbo lucky to not get called for an over the back foul. Would have been his 5th. Original is going to check back in now. Original ready to come back in at the next whistle after dealing with the cramp. Kazubke for 3. That's good for Luke Kazubke. Double figures for him today with 11, and the Redbirds lead by 4. Mason lofts it up for Mogbo. He can't handle it. And then Mogbo is called for that 5th foul, and he has fouled out.
The best way to get a team out of the zone is to shoot them out of it. And Illinois State hadn't done it for the entirety that Missouri State was trying, but finally the basketball finds Luke Kazubke in the corner. Nothing but the bottom of the net. And now Illinois State has a chance to breathe. Another stop and a really good job offensively getting the basketball to a shooter. A great job defensively clearing 2 rebounds. You mentioned Mogbo could have fouled the play before. That's been a problem for Illinois State, getting the basketball away from Missouri State on the defensive rebounding, and 2 in a row there as they're about to run the lead here to 6.
First point of the 2nd half for Malachi Poindexter. Timeout, Missouri State, with 1:23 left to go in overtime. Illinois State 69, Missouri State 64. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Valley on ESPN. Illinois State trailed this game by as many as 9 in the first half. Battled back early in the second half. Had the lead the majority of the second half before Missouri State looked like they might steal it. But now here in overtime, outscoring the Bears 8-3 and trying to close things down at the free throw line. And they're already 3 of 3 here in the overtime period. And one more free throw upcoming in a moment for Malachi Poindexter. Redbirds hoping that, again, if they can close this out, that this can be a springboard for the rest of this season. We saw the standings at one point. It really is a logjam. A ton of teams at 4-2. And then, a couple other Redbirds aren't that far off from being a team that's inside the top 5 in the Valley. Of course, Missouri State comes in 4-2. So they're part of that logjam. This is an important game.
Completely agree, and they only play one time.
Yeah.
So any time that you can hold serve at home and don't have to return to somewhere else, it's always an advantage to play a team the second time. You have film, you have scouting report, you can pick up on tendencies, and so Illinois State able to get away with one here would be huge. And you mentioned it, Scott, the standings are a logjam. You take it one at a time, but certainly Illinois State having 2 wins in a row with a first-year head coach and the ability to start stacking some good habits. And what I've been most impressed by, the 20 minutes of the second half and now 3:37 or however long here in overtime, Illinois State has only turned the basketball over 4 times.
Yeah. Remember, I think three of those were consecutive possessions in the tail end of the second half.
And that's ultimately going to decide the basketball game. It's a 2 or 3 possession game right here. And if you're Illinois State and you have 20 as opposed to 13, you're not in this game.
Mason. So the Bears without Donovan Clay. He's fouled out, as has Jonathan Mogbo. Mason for 3. Bounces out. Rebound by Lewis. His 7th rebound to go along with 10 points. 5 double-figure scores for the Redbirds today, led by Seneca Knights 20. Poindexter with 16. Missouri State's gotten 17 points from Chance Moore. And Sandage fouled by Ayers, and he becomes the 3rd Missouri State player to foul out. And he really never got going in this game, as he plays 10 minutes with 3 points and 1 rebound.
3 fouls by Ayers in his first 4 minutes on the floor, kind of threw him out of any rhythm they might have had. And the cramp to Dalen Original really stopped the Missouri State offense. Mogbo was getting some touches and then kind of got taken out of the offense by the 3-point shooters and then fouled out. And so just not enough consistency on either end for Missouri State, as right now ISU looking like they're going to put this one away at the free throw line.
This would be just the 2nd loss for Missouri State when leading at halftime this season. They're 7-1 entering the game today. 8-point game here in overtime as Mason will pick it up finally. Illinois State will be at Southern Illinois on Saturday. That'll obviously be a tough test. Salukis will be hot off the win against Indiana State, while Missouri State will be home for that Indiana State team on Saturday. Another foul and more free throws for the Redbirds to pad these terrific free throw numbers. 25 for 28 today. Somehow better than what they shoot for the season, as they're 89% at the line today, 80% for the year.
Give it up for the Redbirds, the way they responded. They were down at the half. They were trailing by 9. Scott, we talked about it with about 1:53 to go in the first half. The back-to-back 3-pointers by Malachi Poindexter, you felt like just relieved some tension. It's really hard to be down double digits at the half to a team that's favored and a team that, Dana Ford is in his 5th or 6th year coaching. It's just a team that, is expected to run away with things in a game like that. And so the 3-pointers by Poindexter before the half, taking care of the basketball in the second half, the rebounding, the grit. It was a really, really good effort tonight from Illinois State.
That basket snaps a 13-0 run here in overtime. Remember, it was 64-61 Missouri State to start the overtime. It was 61-61 entering the overtime. And another Bear fouling out here, Chance Moore. He'll foul out with the team high 17 points and 7 rebounds. Plays 42 minutes in this game. He's only been averaging 22.5 minutes per game. And Seneca Knight. First free throw. And he has a new Illinois State career high with 21 points. Second time that he has scored 20 or more in his Illinois State career. .66 with 25 seconds remaining. Mason pulls up for 3, front rimmed it. Offensive rebound for Trimble. Original from way downtown. And the Redbirds, all they got to do is bring it over half court, and they will pick up their 2nd consecutive win. Move to 3-4 in the Valley, 8-10 overall. Missouri State will drop its 2nd consecutive game. They'll be 8-9 overall, 4-3 in league play. The final score tonight, Illinois State 76, Missouri State 66. And we'll see for Illinois State. This could be a springboard moving forward, and we'll have to see if Missouri State, if they can bounce back after, well, they'll say probably a game they'll go in the locker room and say, we had this one in the first half, we had it in overtime, or had it at halftime, but just couldn't finish it. As we look at our Carl Broman Medical Center player of the game, Carl Broman Medical Center, redefining healthcare around you. Visit carl.org to find the care you need. We saw Seneca Knight. Illinois State career high, 22 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 12 of 13 at the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, only 1 turnover in 36 minutes.
He played really well, and he did a lot of good things in the second half, offensively and defensively, and hard to overstate, Scott, how important of a win this is for Illinois State. The pieces are there. They have the talent. They have the roles. They're starting to define what they can be, and when they take care of the basketball, you saw it tonight, they can do things on both ends that win basketball games. And this is a game, frankly, Scott, when you're down 9 in the first half, you could tuck your tail and run away and say this is our first year under a head coach and we're going to lose another one, but they didn't. They fought back, and like you said, maybe a springboard to better things, but certainly a good performance tonight by Illinois State.
A 15-2 run for Illinois State to end the game, to win it by 10 in overtime, 76-66. And again, led by Seneca Knights, 22 points, 16 from Malachi. Poindexter, Missouri State got 17 from Chance Moore and 14 from Dalen Ridgeville. So that wraps up our coverage today for our Redbird production crew. My broadcast partner, Sean Johnson. I'm Scott Sudikoff saying so long from SEPQ Arena, where Illinois State is victorious in overtime over Missouri State, 76-66. We thank you for watching The Valley on ESPN.